How did you find out you were getting cheated on? Open up the tablet to play with it. Found an open email that I had never seen before. Read the messages between them. I've never been the same since. Divorced now. We were together for 30 years. I'm so sorry this happened to you. Thank you. Was using her phone for GPS while we were on a road trip because mine had issues when she got a text from the guy we had been in marriage counseling about, who she says she hasn't talked to him for months about seeing her tomorrow. 24 years of being together, 23 years married, 2 kids, a house, all down the F drain, and ruined my life for a guy who could pass for a real life Ned Flanders. Stupid sexy Flanders. I'm sorry. I had to. Nothing at all. Nothing at all. Nothing at all. Chlamydia. Ouch. Not the surprise anyone wanted. Short story. My brother once had chlamydia. Threw some hand sanitizer on his D and it was gone. Yeah. That's not how that works. Old school. Her little sister ratted her out. Old school. Damn, Alicia Cuthbert was fine. I just asked. I think that's equally as rough as any of the stories in the comments. My ex came to pick up his stuff from my house. The girl he cheated on me with drove him to my house. And we met. Oh god. This is how I found out my ex was cheating. She stood in my kitchen glaring at me while he put his stuff in her vehicle. I knew this woman for years. The girl messaged me from an anonymous IG account letting me know it happened while I was out of town. Maybe I wouldn't have believed it if she didn't provide specific details, like the type of car I drove, that I had let the carless cheater drive while I was gone. Carless cheater is a great insult. He asked me to go unlock his car since he's locked his keys inside. Friend he told me he was with was nowhere to be found. Checked his phone and found the messages. He wouldn't admit to actually sleeping with her until 2 years later. Then asked for an open relationship and got upset when I got more dates than him. We've since split, thankfully. Then asked for an open relationship and got upset when I got more dates than him. I think many men imagine open relationships super duper great, only to find out their woman gets more pull. I read so many stories with this. Girls who this doesn't happen to don't post. I decided to get a divorce. Dude wouldn't stop accusing me of cheating. After I left, some mutual friends of ours at the time told me he was on dating sites, etc. When I went back to the house to grab some of my stuff, another woman had moved in 2 days after I left. It all started to make sense. Apparently it's true. If they are cheating they will accuse you. I don't know all the details. Don't want to. Better off sparing my feelings and not knowing all the details than to be ripped apart inside if I do. Fuck that asshole. God damn it. It just occurred to me that my girlfriend, who cheated on me with her ex-husband, was interrogating me about any female I mentioned or came into regular contact with. She told me, along with how much better he was than me in every conceivable way, while she was dumping me for him. How'd you get rid of her body? He told me directly. His family members found out about it, and I guess he thought he better told me since it was out in the open. After I ended my first relationship, 6 months later, we met to talk about some stuff because she moved in with my mother. She told me that she had cheated on me with 6 different guys during our 2.5 years relationship, and one of them was even her own stepdad. To hit me hard, she told me how they all were much better and could satisfy her more than I ever would be able to. It took me a decade before I got into my next relationship. I couldn't trust any girl anymore for a long time. Wait, your ex mobbed in with your mother and then bragged about her side roosters? What happened afterwards? What did your mom do when you told her? Don't leave the story in the middle, man. Not me, but a friend. One of the girls he was cheating with, a minor who he had groomed, so we do not blame her at all, and she's one of our best friends, realized what he was doing and confessed to his wife. She was more upset about it being with a minor than she was that she'd been cheated on. r/casual such a path for grooming minor. I worked a lot to support my little family. She complained that I worked too much. I came home early to surprise her, but had forgot my key to the apartment. I called her and said surprise I'm home. She said really I thought because she was happy I was home, but realized after the fact it's because she had her boyfriend there. Once I got to the door I knocked and knocked. I called her and she wouldn't answer. I was able to peek through a part of the blind to see her helping him climb in the hallway closet. I left and went to drive around. I was in shock. She called me wanting to know where I had went. She was in the bathroom. I told her I knew, and she didn't confess until the next day. She ended up deciding she was too young to be a wife and mom and left us. I was 19 then and instantly became a single parent. Fuck. That's really shitty, man. Thank you. He started getting antsy about leaving his phone in my presence. So I logged into his Facebook on the shared iPad and saw in his messages. I called him out on my suspicion the next morning. He denied it. I logged into his messenger and saw him admitting that I caught them and they planning on meeting up to talk about it. Same with me. FB Messenger was syncing between her phone and iPad. It was surreal to be watching a show and seeing "We should F backstage next time" pop up in the preview window lol. She was seeing a skinhead, the Nazi kind, who wore a kilt and was a bass player in some cheesy metal band. This explained all the random girls' nights she would abruptly go to on a weekday night. Turns out she was dragging her friends to a dive bar to watch him play, and then they would hump in his van after the show. I think the funniest part was that he would write her songs and perform them on stage. For one, he was a bass player, and two, he was in a metal band. Like, was he screaming these lyrics while shredding a bass solo? Lol. Last I heard she works security at one of those California casinos in bumf nowhere, and he's doing time for aggro assault. The guy shot me a message on social media, said he was sorry and didn't know she was in a relationship. I bumped into him at a bar years later and bought him a drink. Stories like this are so wholesome. You can't get mad at a guy for trying to get laid. You can only get mad at your girlfriend for having sex with that guy. Which is why I don't understand women getting mad at the mistress and not at the man. There's a difference if they know. If you help someone cheat, you aren't innocent. This guy didn't know at the time and did the right thing when he found out. She told me, where are the leftovers? I ate them. She puts her hand in her face. You know what, I fucked your friend. We argue and break things off. I don't recall exactly, it was a long time ago, but it was something like that. She really wanted those leftovers. Everyone knows that the flavors can really combine and enhance overnight. Some sauces are even better having sat overnight. She loved a good bolognese. Imagine if you were going home on Christmas break and coming back next semester to her ignoring you almost entirely, except when she wants something, and hanging out with your roommate a whole lot more than she ever did before. Then imagine coming back to the dorm early from class and walking in on them going at it on your bed. Back in the days before Netflix and WhatsApp, my BF and I were students at different universities, and he was staying over my house for the weekend. We were watching a show or movie on his laptop, and when he went to the bathroom, a message popped up on the corner of the screen, im style. Who remembers those? From one of his friends telling my BF that Katie was really upset with my BF for coming to see me cause she's been nothing more than loyal to him. I don't condone my behavior. I was young and foolish, but that bastard got a good punch to the chest and all his clothes thrown out of my window. The most recent, he left the messages open on my computer. I kicked him out. Most memorable was when I was working as a nurse's aide in a hospital. He showed up at work and I asked why he was there. Wasn't expecting him, so he told me that his friend was upstairs in labor with his baby. Told him to be gone by the time I got off work. WTF. That's a lot of cheaters. There was another, but it was anticlimactic. This is why I've removed myself from the dating pool. I obviously can't pick them. I'm happier now. I didn't know at the time we broke up, for sure, but she was engaged a week after we broke up. I can't even figure out how that worked. Exactly. We broke up before I found out too. In my head I thought the 6-year-long relationship just ran its course, and I was even happy. I felt I was gaining a true lifelong friend. 2 weeks later I get a call from the other woman. She flew him out across the country to meet her parents. He gets there and decides he doesn't want to date her. Out of spite, she calls me and tells me about their 3 years long affair. I still need a therapist to unpack that shit. 3-year long affair? How did he manage to pull it off for 3 years? How on earth do people cheat? This just sucks. Can't even begin to imagine what you're going through or questions you must have. He fucked one of our friends the day before he proposed and found out from her a month before we were going to get married. I had to pick out flowers for the wedding the day after I found out and felt so mortified and sad. After I left the florist's, I cancelled the wedding. I was dumb and tried to work it out with him cause I was with him for 10+ years. He was physically and emotionally abusive, so I had a hard time leaving. After a few months of feeling awful and going to therapy, I finally left. I'm glad you left, and I hope you're doing well. Thank you. I'm doing so much better. I'm in a relationship RN that makes me realize what love should be like. My best friend and boyfriend came to my birthday and banged on my couch when I was getting them drinks. Real subtle. How complicated were these drinks? Jesus Christ. Lol, they were homemade martinis. They had really bad taste. While you were still at home, mean literally next room, I thought you went to the store to get drinks. Nah, I was legit just in the kitchen, lol. I was in the hospital on bed rest. His daughter was in danger of being born premature. She was and is okay. His side chick was calling my room saying, "B, I got yo man. I'ma have his baby." Told her she could have his B-ass. The phone went off while he was in the shower. He had the contact saved as a guy's name, but the images weren't adding up. What? I always send Jeff pictures of my D with sensual lighting.